Welcome to the Clapback with Julie Roginsky, where we take Twitter back from the trolls. Today we're going to do things a little differently, and we're highlighting some artful, amazing clapbacks. Enter one former acting Attorney General, Sally Yates. Now add in a dash of two Texan lawyer senators into the mix. The first, Senator John Cornyn. Watch him smugly and incorrectly mansplain and characterize to Sally Yates her own actions, and then enjoy her clapback.
For your confirmation, because I believe that you had a distinguished career, but I have to tell you that I find it enormously disappointing that you somehow vetoed the decision of the Office of Legal Counsel with regard to the lawfulness of the President's order and decided instead that you would countermand the executive order of the President of the United States because you happen to disagree with it as a policy matter.
Well, it wasn't.
I just have to say that.
I appreciate that, Senator. And let me make one thing clear. It was not purely as a policy matter. And in fact, I remember my confirmation hearing in an exchange that I had with you and others of your colleagues where you specifically asked me in that hearing that if the President asked me to do something that was unlawful or unconstitutional, and one of your colleagues said, or even just that would reflect poorly on the Department of Justice, would I say no? And I looked at this. I made a determination that I believed that it was unlawful. I also thought that it was inconsistent with the principles of the Department of Justice. And I said no. And that's what I promised you I would do, and that's what I did.
And now to Senator Cornyn's counterpart. Watch the good senator from Texas, our old friend Senator Ted Cruz, attempt to relitigate the Muslim ban with Yates. By the way, this hearing should not have been, or was not supposed to be in the Muslim ban. It was about Russian interference into our elections. But I know Senator Cruz doesn't really want to talk about that. She claps right back at him. And by the way, outlawyer Senator Cruz, watch this.
Are you familiar with 8 U.S.C. Section 1182?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Well, it is the binding statutory authority for the executive order that you refused to implement and that led to your termination. So it certainly is a relevant and not a terribly obscure statute. Mm-hmm. By the express text of the statute, it says, quote, whenever the President finds that the entry of any alien or of any class of aliens into the United States would be detrimental to the interests of the United States, he may by proclamation and for such period as he shall deem necessary suspend the entry of all aliens or any class of aliens as immigrants or non-immigrants, or impose on the entry of aliens any restrictions he may deem appropriate. Would you agree that that is broad statutory authorization?
I would, and I am familiar with that, and I'm also familiar with an additional provision of the INA that says no person shall receive preference or be discriminated against in issuance of a visa because of race, nationality, or place of birth. That, I believe, was promulgated after the statute that you just quoted. And that's been part of the discussion with the courts with respect to the INA, is whether this more specific statute trumps the first one that you just described. But my concern was not an INA concern here. It rather was a constitutional concern.
Oh, this woman is the clapback queen. And let's note, Senator Cruz hightailed it off the dais right after that and did not even bother returning for a second round of questioning. You know why? Because the true mark of a complete butt-kicking is that you don't return for round two after getting it handed to you in round one. And finally, Sally Yates just highlighted, when you're patronizing to a strong woman, she will clap back. Senator Cruz, this is not the Princeton debate team. This is real life, and you just got served, sir. I'm Julie Roginsky with Fox News.